What is going on, Next Level Nation? This is your man Johnny F here, and in today's video, we are going to run through the 5 main personality myths discussed in the book Personality is Impermanent. So you're going to want to stay tuned. Welcome to Next Level Warrior. It's great to have you guys here. Now, for anyone that's new to the channel, we cover topics from advancing your health and personal growth, helping you build your warrior within to become your next level self. So if that sounds good to you, then make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, selecting all notifications to catch my videos posted every week. So you've probably all dipped your toes into a personality test at some point or another in your life. And just like myself, you may have actually fallen into believing at least a few of these myths that I'll be sharing with you. Now, there are actually a variety of other personality myths which I won't be touching on today, but the following 5 were taken directly from the outstanding and recently released book, Personality is Impermanent, which I recently did a book review on that I would highly encourage you to check out. There'll be a link in the description. So let's get right into myth number 1, that personality can be categorized into types. These personality-based tests are far from being scientific in any way. They can persuade us into trying to fit our complex human nature, which is so rich with potential, directly into small, specific categories. And it's kind of offensive if you think about it. To categorize us into types is to grossly underestimate the intricacies of what it means to be human. I appreciate the term where it's to think of it as a snapshot of our current traits instead of a life sentence. I'm sorry to say this, but believing that we have a fixed personality is a big indication of lacking a growth mindset. Not to say that this is terrible, but a fixed mindset leads to self-imposed limitations and increasing chances of mediocrity in your life that can spiral into unhappiness in the long run. Now, I'll be the first one to say here that well into my mid-20s, I thought I was always going to be shy, super overweight, scared to communicate with people, and so on. Of course, it's been over a decade since then, but that's the whole point here. Research shows that your personality dramatically changes over the years. Just think back to who you were 10 years ago. But unfortunately, some people can go as far as to believe that we are genetically hardwired to be a certain way, which I think is total hogwash. And one of the discoveries that completely blew researchers away in the 63-year personality traits study that was published in 2016 from the Journal of Psychology and Aging. Basically, they concluded that they were completely wrong about the outcome that they had guessed would result in some similarities in personality traits. The message is clear. Personality changes over time. Now, myth number 3 is another misconception many of us can have. Personality comes from your past. I'm not going to deny that our past influences our personality, because it absolutely does, but not because we can't change it. You see, there are a few reasons that influence our daily choices that keep us stuck in the past, perpetuating this personality myth. Having an identity narrative based on the past, being defined by past traumas which you haven't reframed in your subconscious mind, directs you to stay consistent with your former self, the perceived comfort zone. Being stuck in this past story, letting it define your current personality, is totally obliterating your imagination. If we aren't learning from our past, we are literally cutting off the potential of a greater future for ourselves. And I'm not even touching on the fact of how our memory actually works. You see, every time we pull up a memory, we are actually distorting it, changing it. And if we keep looking at our past traumas in a victimhood mentality, as in something that happened to us, then we block the ability to find their blessings in disguise and forming a mindset of why it actually may have happened for us. And this brings me to the question of the day. What are some past experiences or traumas that can keep us as humans stuck in the past? Let me know down in the comments. Our personality and passions are created by us, not necessarily discovered. It's a result of the decisions that we make, the intentions that we choose to put into place. It's unfortunate how many of us give up our power to create the self that we want, as if we're waiting for the universe to slap us in the face with this discovery. Change starts with intention, with imagination, and following it with persistent action, making the choice to learn new things, improve on our current skills, and design our next level self. The significance of this myth is perfectly captured in this quote by George Bernard Shaw. And the last myth discussed in the book, probably the most destructive of these pervasive myths is that personality is who we authentically and truly are. Have you ever used the term,
I need to be true to myself?
I definitely have. But what does this even mean? I feel that it's like this safety mechanism that our brain creates to keep us in our comfort zone. You know, that place where we can hide behind the authentic self term, which literally prevents us from having new experiences, challenging our existing belief structure, and expanding on the beliefs of what we feel we are capable of. Oliver Wendell Holmes said, "A mind that is stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions." Where this myth can be destructive are these invisible walls that we reinforce around us, preventing us from being flexible and learning to change. Again, to believe that you have a fixed, authentic self shows lack of imagination and literally puts the brakes on a growth mindset. In order to explore the possibilities of growth, then your authentic self must be in constant motion, like a moving target that's always flowing. Dr. Benjamin Hardy asks in his recent book, Personality Isn't Permanent, what would happen if you stopped trying to be authentic and instead faced the truth of why you're limiting yourself? It's a pretty serious question, and one that can definitely surface a lot of varying feelings and emotions for us. So I'd like to ask you a favor. In all sincerity, I ask that you take out your journal or a piece of paper and really take the time to think about this. Take this time to write to yourself. These are real questions that we need to be asking ourselves, especially if we want to grow that warrior within to create major change in our lives. So if you're only hearing about this book now for the first time in this video, then it's definitely one to own. For me, it's hands down one of the best personal development books I've ever read. And the biggest reason being that Dr. Hardy strategically places numerous questions and journaling prompts at the end of each chapter, like the one I just mentioned, to help you take actionable steps to break free from these self-limiting labels and beliefs to help you become your future self. Now, I'm very lightly skimming on the surface of these myths in this video, and I intend to do a deeper dive into each of these myths, specifically sharing more about this book and what we can do to transform these limits that we've unknowingly set on ourselves. So if that sounds good to you, then make sure you're subscribed to the channel, hit the like button to share your thanks, drop me a line in the comments, and never stop growing.